Planning your big day might seem exciting at first, but once you dive in, you quickly realize just how much work is involved. From managing endless details to navigating unexpected challenges, wedding planning can be overwhelming. You might have countless questions, but hiring a wedding planner can feel like an added expense. And what if they don't fully grasp your vision? That's why this episode is a must listen. Today, we're diving into the world of wedding planning with an expert who will break down everything you need to know, including how to tackle the budget like a pro.
My name is Lurette Best Shitian. I'm the creative director of Her Best World Events, located in Jos, Nigeria, but of course, available to travel.
Hello everyone, I'm Uchechi Emelonye. I'm a singer-songwriter from Nigeria and I make music for the heart and soul. What's the most important quality for an event planner? I think it has to be organization. There's so many things that need to go right that day, so they need to be organized.
What is the most important quality of an event planner? One is to have sense. Organizational sense, to be able to put things together. You will not make sense as an event planner if you are very scattered. Being an event planner is about being organized and then putting things in the right order. So that's the most important quality. The sense of direction, sense of knowing what you're doing, sense of organization, and then having sense, financial sense as well, to be able to know the figures and then put things together.
Okay, so my approach to wedding planning and how it influences the couple. First off, wedding planning is that process where you get to create memorable experience for the couple or for the client, whoever they are. And then, again, give them a stress-free moment. It's a whole lot planning a wedding. You go from the proposal, the whole stress that you go through in making sure that everything goes on straight. And then imagine you're doing that all by yourself, and at the same time you're the bride and the groom. You come up with a whole lot of eye bags in the morning, looking all stressed out, venting on everyone around you and all that. So first off, we're there to get your brief, understand what you want to achieve, and then flow into the job with you and make it a seamless experience all through.
My name is General DJ Indo from Wazobia FM. Okay, what is the most important quality I look for an event planner? That's a tough one. Probably, I'll first of all look for what that event planner has done, a particular event the event planner has done before, to be able to know all the qualities. Because I can tell you I'm looking for attendance or coordination of one certain things, and the person lacks in another area.
The most important quality I look for in an event planner is organization. I like an event planner to be very organized and to be in charge of the flow of events impeccably.
Quality and cost-effective and patient. The person should be patient with the client, and also the person should be nice, should be kind, actually, should be kind.
Okay, so would I like to work with a couple that give me a clear vision, or the couple that would give me full creative control now? I think I would love to work with both, because sometimes I would prefer couple that have a vision entirely of what they want. Then it helps me infuse my own vision into their vision and makes work seamless for that. Now, on the other end, you have those couple that are clueless, to say. They are not so sure of what they want. They're just here. And then once you come up suggesting ideas to them, they go, no, this is not what I want. But then in the beginning, they didn't have anything at all. So as you bring up ideas, they get to process it, accept and unaccept whatever you're bringing, depending on what the suggestions are. And then it gets to a point where you come to an agreement and it works for them. Of course, you get to have those very difficult guys that are bent on I don't want it and I don't want it. But then it's something that would make your day look really nice. It's something that will make your day memorable. Like your guests will be excited that they're in this space. They share the experience of your wedding with you. But then generally, I think I would like to work on both because they both have different experiences and the outcome would be very different as well.
How much am I willing to pay an event planner and how much is too much? Nothing is too much so long as it meets the need of that event. Every event has its cost. So if an event planner comes to me and says, this will cost 5 million, we'll analyze it and I'll pay. I will not say no, because if you try to be smart with the budget, it is what you pay for that you get. So you don't say you want this and then you shortchange yourself and then they do some rubbish and then you are complaining. It is what you pay for that you get. So I'll pay according to what we need for a successful event.
How much am I willing to pay an event planner? Let's say 1 million and above, I can pay an event planner depending on the people that are going to be part of the event that day. So let's say 1 million above because of the economy, everything is on the high side. So 1 million above is okay. And how much is too much? I don't think there is too much money for an event planner because they take all their time to prepare for your event and not theirs. So there's no amount that is too much for them.
How much am I going to pay for an event and how much is too much for an event? I'll say I can't really answer that. I don't know. Depending on how mighty you want your event to be. If you want it to be powerful, definitely it's going to go well. If you want it to go normal, So, but how much is too much? Let's say from 50 million is too much to plan an event. That's what I can say.
Well, how much I'm willing to pay an event planner? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It depends on what they are planning. I believe no amount is too much for an event. So it depends on what they are planning. It can be 1 billion, depending on what they are planning. It can also be 50,000, depending on what they are planning. So that's my answer.
So how much am I willing to pay for an event to an event planner? And how much is too big for an event? Well, the answer is how much is the event planner worth? And how big is the event I'm planning? So I don't think there's any amount too big or I wouldn't say too small. There's definitely an amount too small, but there's not an amount too big to plan an event because it depends on the weight of the event. Yeah.
Okay, how much am I willing to pay an event planner and how much is too much for an event planner? I can't give you an exact quote because I haven't thrown an event in Nigeria yet. I just moved back, but I just say pay people for their quality of work. If they do good work, pay them well.
What is the budget for hiring an event planner? The budget for hiring an event planner, it's maybe a minimum of 800, 500,000. Yes, so I would say a minimum of 500,000 if you don't have a very loud guest. Probably if you're working with 100 guests, we could do 100, 200 guests, we could do 500,000. Being that there's a whole lot of work, of course, that would be put into it. But then, again, how much is your budget? Because there are budgets that are actually very tight budgets. For those tight budgets, if we have a conversation with you, first of all, the consultation now, if we have that conversation with you and we understand your vision, if it's something we would love to explore, we can break our fee to see that we go on this journey with you because there's some experiences that are worth going for. It's not all about the money. It's all about the experience. Yes, we need money to make life move, yeah, but then at the same time, we're looking at having that experience and seeing that we put a smile on your faces. So we're not pegged to a particular price, and of course, we can work with any budget. So let's say 500 for 150 guests.
The most important quality you look for in an event planner. It depends on the event. Everybody have their niche and their flaws as well. So it depends on the event you are trying to organize. So that's a determinant factor to what you go for.
Patience. Patience, very, very key.
What are those things that the couple would never compromise on when it comes to their wedding, especially when it's on a budget? I think food is very vital. You can't say you're working on a budget and people attend your wedding and you serve them just gari. Like, it doesn't happen. You have the intention of calling these guys, right? So I feel it's okay to go all out to feed them. I feel that's just right, because come on, if you have a visitor in your house, you at least will give the person a drink and food. So it's okay to go out on the food. Then you would like to record the memories of that day. So I would say bring in a photographer, and a good photographer and a good videographer to document these processes for you. And of course, hire an event planner, because without that, you are stopped. The little money you're trying to manage, you find yourself throwing it all out and you're not getting results for what you're doing. So first of all, get an event planner, get food, and get your drinks sorted.
The event planner must be able to be a multitasker. That event planner must be able to coordinate from the sound to the stage to the lights to the couple to every single thing that brings the show into one. So if that event planner just only is a specialist in one field, that event is not likely to go well, because we're talking about the schedule, you're talking about the timing, and the couple, their parents, are going to be putting a lot of pressure to make sure that everything goes as planned, because it usually happens only once in a year or once in a lifetime, not even in a year. So the event planner must be put together, must have done it for years, and also had her own regular like makeup artist, her own regular caterer, and people she can depend on, so the event doesn't get to become a flop.
Okay, so do I have a go-to team of vendors, or do I have to go looking for vendors for every event? I think every planner has more like a go-to vendor for themselves. But then there are instances where we have these newbies on every part of the industry. So for me, once I see that there is this new person that is doing well and is not known in the industry, why not we pull you up and see how we can work with you? Not necessarily the new people, but then it's okay. For us in our Best World events, we go out of our regular space sometimes to see that we explore other vendors. But then we also take vendors that the clients bring. Because there are some clients that would go, we have our vendors, we want you to work with our vendors, this is what we want, and this is who we want to handle this. In cases like that, we advise as to probably personally knowing the vendor you're bringing in. If it's someone that wouldn't deliver, we would just give you an advice. Okay, are you sure this person would do this? We have a history of that with this person. So if you're cool, why not? We go ahead. But then in our terms and conditions, of course, we'll state it clear to you that whatever this person does that is not right at the end of the day, we're not in it because we had told you. And so we're okay to take vendors from the clients and then new vendors. And of course, we have our go-to vendors that's at the tip of our fingers. We call them and they're here to serve.
How important is it for an event planner to have experience? I think experience is really important, but I also think that to gain experience, you need to be given the opportunity to gain that experience. So I think you should still go for young event planners as well.
It's very important for an event planner to have experience, just like any other profession. When you're experienced, there's some things that you wouldn't learn from the books. You learn by being on the job. There are certain things you just won't know from the books. So experience is important, but that doesn't mean that event planners cannot start from somewhere. There's always somewhere to start, but that is where mentorship comes in and experience is handed over.
Okay, so how important is it for an event planner to have experience? To be a successful event planner, you must take mentorship from an existing event planner. You must follow somebody. You must learn the ropes from somebody who has been there to know what and what not to do. So it's very critical to understudy somebody And events vary. You might think you know it so well on this end, only to find out that there are things you don't know. You don't plan a burial the same way you plan a birthday party or you plan a celebration of life. You know, there are different aspects, so you must learn every time. And then as the dynamics change, as people change, as their tastes change, there was a time that having to do Dorime was inside the club. But now, people now inculcate it at their parties. As an event planner, you must be abreast with Vogue, with the new trends. So you must keep learning on the job.
Okay, so how do I think weddings have changed from the past? So we're talking more like the evolution of the wedding in the event industry. Weddings have really evolved. Right now, weddings are like a full movie. Do you get? You wake up in the morning, you have a whole village with the bride trying to get her all dressed up. Too many cameras, paparazzi here and there. The makeup artist is coming with like 2 extra people. The hairstylist is coming with all that. Back then, first off, in the morning preps, they're just simple and calm. A small space would do that. But right now, to achieve a very quick, swift, beautiful day, you would need, I'll call it a whole village, because everyone has an assistant that would help them pass something to be swift. So that's on that. And then coming to the event process itself, we have the decorations. Now, in the past, or a few years back, decorations are more like having your wedding color fabric dripped all around. First of all, we used to do open field weddings where we have the canopies, then there's some very awful colors of fabrics flying there and here. Then some very funny table arrangements where you just see something on the table with little or no details. But right now we've evolved to the point where we create structured mood boards, we redesign, discuss with the clients, they approve of whatever design you bring up. That's like a whole project. But of course, years back, you just wake up, you want to marry, you can call your auntie that is in the village that used to tie fabrics. She would just come and do something for you as decor. You'd call Sisi something that makes food by the corner. She would just make something and then come with. But now everything is consciously made and detailedly arranged, where you see all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed. The expression goes from the way you come into the hall. How do you feel? How do you smell the space? The ambience, all that was not what we really look out for those years. So, of course, now we have to just go with the flow. This is what the time is saying. So weddings have really evolved. And talking about after parties, we didn't used to have the whole all gingered after party. They would have a wedding at this point, and maybe the after party is one barbecue. So we're moving from this point to probably a family house to have a barbecue, and that is called the after party. But now we have a full-blown movie called an after party, because you have an entirely different set of vendors coming for the after party. You've had a different set of vendors for the reception, for probably the morning part, the reception. Then you have total different set of, do you understand? So there's just a whole lot of evolution in the industry, and a whole lot is coming because we have AIs that are doing a whole lot of things now. So a lot more is coming.
How important is it for an event planner to have experience? Without experience, that event is very important. Because if that event planner just is coming to learn work, as they say in Pidgin Palace, if that event planner is coming to learn work, it's going to be very hard to impress the couple, because she must have spent time with those vendors to make sure that the vendors know what they are doing, know the vendors are reliable, and make sure that she can trust them to deliver on the event date.
it is important for an event planner to have an experience, because without experience, you are just like a novice. So you should try and try. No man is an island. You can't just have an experience without even trying. So I guess an event planner should try once, twice, practice make perfect.
My most memorable experience. I wouldn't call it a beautiful experience, because I know everyone comes up to share their very beautiful experiences, but I have the beautiful ones. I have this very memorable day that the best man wakes up at 5 a.m. on a traditional wedding that we've not even had any encounter with for any reason. Wakes up to start ranting on me on the phone. You're so incompetent, none of your staff are here, blah, 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 blah. I had to look at the time. I'm like, okay, this is 5 a.m. And he kept on. And then another call came in, and it was all ranting and all that. Of course, we have a timeline. It is not yet time on the timeline for any of these people to be here. I hear the photographer isn't here, the makeup artist isn't here. Like, my brain was already going out of my head at the point. So I just called them back and I say, guess what, guys? I'm not doing this again. I'm refunding you 100. Because I don't imagine waking up first thing in the morning to insults on what I have not even started doing yet, like accomplishing the day of the event. So that is not a positive memory, right? But then I told myself, if that was my first experience as a planner, trust me, I would have been out, like that day would have been my last. So now that is that experience. The good one. I had an event in one village. Like, we just got to the village and they gave us one very land like that. And they said, this is where you're going to have the event. And coming from Plateau State, you have where there's some form of insurgency here and there. So first off, security isn't so good there. And then we had to bring in the team, security and everyone on ground to make sure that everything was working well. And then when the couple and their family came there by morning, it was like we transformed the land they gave us to a full-blown hall. And everyone was wowed. Now, at that point, we had not even finished walking inside. And it was really memorable because they really did not think that we could achieve that. They were used to having the regular canopy and those fabrics and all that. But then we brought more like a hall to them. And the event process itself went seamlessly. So that was a great experience for me. My name is Lorette Best Shitien, Creative Director, Her Best World Events. Her Best, HA Best World _events. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We all have that. And then Lorette Best Shitien on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for having me on Wedding on a Budget.
And there you have it. Wedding planning is no small feat. With so many moving parts, food, flowers, music, photography, and more, it's easy to feel the pressure. If you'd rather hand off the stress, consider hiring a wedding planner who truly gets your vision and respects your budget. Until next time, keep planning that dream wedding without breaking the bank. It's still Wedding on a Budget.